Well, you see it right there. Newly sworn in Collingdale police officer resigns after being charged in alleged road rage incident. I looked it up, and since this case started, it hasn't changed much, so I'm just going with the most current information. Collingdale, Pennsylvania. A police officer with the Collingdale Police Department is being charged in a road rage incident. Who was surprised about that? I think most people are only surprised that, well, he's being charged. Kevon Darden resigned Tuesday, less than a week on the job. He was sworn in this past Sunday as a part-time officer. You can't make this up. Authorities say the incident happened in April of 2023. Of course, it happened in April 2023 because why would anything go quick with government? According to state police, Darden got into an altercation with another driver on I-476 South in Delaware County and threatened the person with a gun. The driver says Darden fired a shot during the confrontation, but the former officer denies these allegations according to court documents. Well, you know what would clear up any alleged allegations? Some damn body cam footage. At the time of the alleged road rage incident, Darden was reportedly a Cheney, university police officer. Oh, so he was a cop on campus. Used to have security out there. They would work off-hour security, called them rent-a-cops. Anyway, it was shocking and a little skeptical because these charges were not there prior to today, said Chief Shanae Mitchell. You can't fucking make this up. A chief of police, her name is Shanae. That should tell you everything you need to know. Adding that a background check was done on Darden and it came back clean. Excuse me. Well, clean background check is in the eye of the beholder. Depends on what the hiring standards are for the police department. Maybe their policies say for your background check to be clean, you can't be thugging for 10 years and you've only been thugging for 9 years, so your background's clean. Maybe it says you can't have any felonies, but it doesn't say how many misdemeanors you can have. So here's what happens with that. You can go to court, you can represent yourself on, now I wasn't on a murder charge, but like felonies, general felonies, you can go to court and represent yourself. You can go in front of the judge and say, Judge, Your Honor, I'm just a poor man trying to make it in this world, and I want to represent myself. Don't matter if you're black, if you're white, if you're green, if you're brown. You can go before a judge and you can represent yourself, and you can say, I'm willing to accept responsibility for what I've done. If you could find it in your heart to reduce these charges, I would greatly appreciate it, and I'll do anything that you say I need to do. And then the judge will look down like they're really contemplating. They're not, because they do this shit all the time, and they'll say, well, you know, I don't normally do this. That's a lie. They do it all the time. But I'm going to make an exception. I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to reduce these charges to misdemeanors, but I'm going to need you to do something for me. And you'll be like, okay, I'll do whatever you want me to do, Judge. What is it? Well, you're going to need to do some classes, okay? And you're going to need to pay some restitution, okay? And you're going to need to do some diversion programs, okay? And then you're going to need to do some programs to show that you did the diversion programs, okay? And then you're going to need to go pick up trash along the roadside so the community can see that we're trying to reintegrate people back into society, okay? And then you're going to need to do a reintegration program, okay? And the whole time you're paying for all those programs. You're paying for every single thing you do. Matter of fact, most people don't know it. You pay to be on probation. As long as government is getting money out of you, they'll reduce charges. They just soon have you out here because they know you're going to be thugging again anyway, and you're going to commit some more crime, and they're going to get more money out of you. It's a never-ending cycle with government. They don't care. They don't care about it. They don't care about anybody but keeping their paycheck, their pensions, and their benefits, retiring with the least amount of time, and being done. That's all government cares about. Sorry if you don't like it. That's the way it is. The Delaware County Police Union is questioning how thorough it may have been. The Fraternal Order of Police has lost all confidence in the chief to lead this department, said FOP President Christopher Iserman. Well, you know what people have lost confidence in? The Fraternal Order of Police. Fraternal Order of Police, please give me a break. Post Peace Officer Standards Training. That's the one that set the standards, and everybody's got to meet the standards, and everybody's got to abide by the standards, and everybody's got to go by the standards. But when cops are called before them, very seldom do they discipline them, much less revoke any peace officer's license that they have. They almost never do that. It almost has to be so egregious that it shocks the mind. It has to be so egregious when people read what government has done, they are so shocked that they're like, what the fuck? Even government, when government reads it, if government says what the fuck, then they're going to revoke some shit. Until then, nothing's going to happen. They're going to tell you peace officer standards and training, and we have standards. They have zero standards. They don't care. They're there to keep uniforms filled and keep money coming into their pockets. And until people realize that, and enough people have had enough and start at their local level and work their way up, nothing's going to change. Chief Mitchell responded to those comments saying, yeah, I really have nothing to say about them. I don't know them. They don't know me. That's their opinion. So be it. Okay, anyway. When it comes to police coverage and public safety, Collingdale has been in a state of turbulence for months since former Chief Patrick Kilroy was removed in June. The community strongly opposed a previous candidate for chief due to an alleged misconduct investigation, and now this case against a new officer. Wow, sounds like Collingdale is just a complete shit show. It's just business as normal in Collingdale Borough. They hire whoever they want, said Iserman. Borough manager C. Michael Robinson issued a statement to Action News saying, this is the second time in recent memory that a black officer appointed to serve in our borough has faced sudden legal action shortly after their appointment. This pattern echoes historical examples of resistance to integration within public institutions. So what this one's saying is black people are finding it difficult to work with the public. Well, it seems like there is a pattern, but I would say most law enforcement in general don't know how to work with the public, which is strange because they are public servants. You can't make it up. Anyway, Mitchell says she inherited, not created, the turmoil, but she remains optimistic. See, that's the problem. There's zero accountability. I keep saying zero accountability. There's zero accountability. They're going to take zero accountability, and better than that, shut the hell up. They don't want to hear you. They're going to kick that can down the road. They're going to pass it on. They're going to say, it's everybody created this. I'm just trying to fix it. They're going to blame everybody but themselves. That's why it's not going to fix itself. The resignation comes as the borough continues dealing with staffing shortage. According to the borough manager, right now there are 5 full-time officers with the hiring of 3 part-timers pending. In the past, 14 officers have been considered fully staffed. Collingdale Mayor Donna Matteo-Spadea says troopers with the Pennsylvania State Police have been covering overnight shifts for the police department since November. So you got a female mayor, don't even know what she looks like, probably a DEI. You got a probably lesbian female damn chief of police, and you got some black officers running around, don't know how to act with the public. Anyway, I think this is just a synopsis of what we read, but we'll look at it. This is the second time in recent memory that a black officer appointed to serve in our borough has faced sudden legal action shortly after their appointment. This pattern echoes historical examples of resistance to integration within public institutions, such as the opposition of diversifying police forces during the mid-20th century. It is a reminder that systemic barriers to progress remain entrenched in some areas, and these challenges undermine trust in governance and the judicial system. Such an opposition to diversity, equity, and inclusion is going to kill people. It already is. I'm just saying. When are people going to wake up? Law enforcement was already a complete shit show, but now you're going to add a bunch of people that not only Are there less standards than there were? Just they're not qualified prima facie on the face at face value. They're not qualified, but it doesn't matter because they use a certain bathroom. They're a certain color. They're a certain gender, if they even know their fucking gender. This shit has got to stop. These people can take your life with impunity. They don't care. Anytime you have contact with law enforcement, your chances of breathing the next day go down exponentially, and nobody seems to be understanding that. Our community deserves better transparency, better cooperation among institutions, and better accountability for those charged with upholding the public good. I remain committed to advocating for equity and justice, not only in Collingdale, but throughout Delaware County. Well, I guess we'll see about that. I'm guessing that's a bunch of fucking lip service, because it seems like every time some shit goes down, that's some same shit different day. But let's see what they got to say.
All right, new developments tonight in the ongoing drama surrounding the Collingdale Police Department. An officer who was on the job less than a week is now charged in a road rage incident. This as the department struggles with staffing shortages. Action News reporter Leland Pinder is live from Collingdale, Delaware County with the full story. Leland.
Yeah, Rick, the charges here are pretty serious. The victim alleges that Kevon Darden pointed and fired a gun in that road rage incident, though Darden does deny that in court documents. But as you said, this is just the latest issue surrounding the Collingdale Borough Police Department.
I, Kevon Darden.
A Collingdale police officer was sworn in Sunday. As of Thursday, he's resigned, effective immediately amid charges just filed today.
Now, this, of course it's going to go dark, should have been a clue. This is probably, I don't know, the mother, the grandmother, I don't know what the fuck this is supposed to be. Reading the swearing in, this should be a clue right here that they don't know what the fuck is going on. For one, are they in a basement? It's like, ooh, I'm a cop now. You got free donuts over here? Anyway, swearing in ceremony. You place your left hand on the Bible and you raise your right hand. Placing your left hand on the Bible and raising your right hand signifies truth, honesty, and integrity. He's probably grinning because he's the only one in the room that understands that. He has his right hand on the Bible. He has his left hand raised. That is completely contradictory to any swearing-in ceremony you will ever see, unless they're a bunch of basement-dwelling, donut-eating, thugging criminals. Then this is how it'll go down. This right here is incorrect.
In connection with an alleged road rage incident in April 2023.
It was shocking and it was a little,
This is the fucking chief of police. Can you please give me a damn break? If some shit went down, and I know generally the chief don't show up to do nothing. The chief sits her ass in the office and might answer a phone call if you call in there with a question, and sits in there, drives around town, looks around, basically does nothing, has a second and third job teaching out at the community colleges and the universities. Seldom will you find them in the police department, and if they're on the road, they're not doing anything. And if some shit went down and who do you think she could chase down? Who do you think she could tackle and take to the ground? Let's be for real. DEI has got to stop. And then to make it, I don't know, I guess she decided to shave her head to look like a real dickhead. Only thing can make it better, she had the dickhead hat to go with it, like Highway Patrol wears.
skeptical at the same time because these charges were not there prior to today.
Chief Shanae Mitchell says a background check was done on Kevon Darden and it came back clean.
You can't make this up.
The Delaware County Police Union is questioning how thorough it may have been.
The FOP has lost all confidence in the chief to lead this department.
Mitchell seemingly unbothered by the FOP's words. What is your response?
Oh, interesting.
That's
Interesting. They don't like me. Now I'm going to go cry. Racism. And they don't like the LGBTQIA bullshit. You're right. We don't like it. We're tired of it. We're fed up with it. Law enforcement has been going to shit for more than a decade at this point. And this is only making it worse. I said it before. I'll say it again. My husband was in the Marine Corps for years. He worked in law enforcement for years. He worked in the North Carolina Department of Corrections medium security for years. This shit going on in the military didn't happen, going on in law enforcement didn't happen, and going on working in the DOC didn't happen. Because trust and believe, they could not wait to bring you in, dress you down, and fire your ass. And there was standards. You had to have a clean, if you had any blemish on any history, criminal history, credit history, they taught, when you filled out the application to work at the police department, they did a background investigation, they did a psychological evaluation, they did your credit. If you had bad credit, you could not be in law enforcement. They talked to your references. They would go talk to your first grade teacher. They'd talk to the neighbor that you played with when you were 5 years old, when you lived in another state. They would talk to the guy that worked the corner store when you were in 10th grade. They talked to everybody. They got to the absolute bottom of any shit that might come up that would be questionable, because they knew public was watching. Now, they don't give a shit. They know public's watching, and they're like, really? You thought this DEI hire was bad? Hold my fucking beer. Wait till you see what I got coming. It is absolutely fucking ridiculous.
That's it.
Yeah, I really have nothing to say about them. That's their opinion. So be it.
When it comes to police coverage and public safety, Collingdale has been in a state of turbulence for months since former Chief Patrick Kilroy was removed in June. The community strongly opposed a previous candidate for chief due to an alleged misconduct investigation, and now this case against a new officer.
It's just that business as normal in Collingdale Borough. They hire whoever they want.
Borough Manager C. Michael Robinson issued a statement to Action News that read in part, "This is the second time in recent memory that a black officer appointed to serve in our borough has faced sudden legal action shortly after their appointment. This pattern echoes historical examples of resistance to integration within public institutions." Mitchell says she inherited, not created, the turmoil, but remains optimistic.
Of course, pass the buck, because then I'm going to be held accountable for some shit. And we're not about to have that happen, because if you make me be accountable, I'll tell you how big of a fucking racist you are.
For now, staffing issues persist and the borough is down an officer. And the borough manager tells me right now there are 5 full-time officers here in Collingdale, with the hiring of 3 part-timers pending. He says in the past, 14 was considered fully staffed. State police do continue to fill in where there are coverage gaps. Here.
Okay, so I found another, I know there was another little video of this degenerate, but I come across this. I'm not going to read it. It's the same shit, different day. I just thought it was kind of comical that the reporting entity is Hoodline. I'm just throwing it out there. Anyway, this is where we're at.
That's right, Jacqueline. About 15 minutes ago, I spoke with Officer Darden, and he tells me that he is planning on seeking legal counseling because he plans on fighting this. He says that it's been his dream his entire life to serve his community.
Well, we started to receive reports about Mr. Darden's alleged criminal activity or behavior. That information was found unsubstantiated twice. In fact, our chief ran his background twice.
Kevon Darden resigned tonight after only 4 days on the job. This comes hours after the Delaware County DA's office filed charges against Devon for an alleged road rage incident that happened in April of 2023. Borough Manager C. Michael Robinson tells NBC 10 in an exclusive interview he finds the timing of the filing of the charges questionable, since the alleged incident happened almost 2 years ago.
That's the same question we have. We want to know, why did you not provide this information to us prior? It's very clear that people within the district attorney's office and possibly the state police knew exactly what they were going to provide us.
According to Pennsylvania State Police, Darden was involved in an altercation with another driver on I-476 in Delaware County. The police report says Darden threatened the victim with a gun and fired a shot during the confrontation. Robinson now questions if race played a role in the charges.
Almost exactly like the scenario we went through about 6 months ago, maybe less, in the summer. when we were trying to confirm another black man to join the police force in Collingdale.
Yesterday, Mayor Donna Matteo-Spadea took to social media to react to the emergency swearing-in ceremony, where she in part said, "As your mayor, I'm duty-bound to
Oh, it was an emergency swearing-in ceremony. Maybe that's what it looked like. It was in the damn basement.
ensure everyone's safety. When I received a request to swear in an officer Sunday afternoon, who I have never met or had any qualifications to go over, I had to make a difficult decision.
You didn't have to make a difficult decision. You were the mayor. You can say, no, when I got time to look at some shit, we'll deal with it then. They don't have time for that. They do not care.
I had to think about the potential risks and consequences, and as a caring leader,
Like a police report correctly.
the department held their monthly public safety meeting that same day, where they discussed Collingdale's police shortage crisis. Borough leaders say a year ago,
That's it. Shortage. They'll always tell you, well, we had to get somebody in there quick. We got a shortage. We got a shortage. No, you don't. You only have a shortage because the area is a complete shit show because of what you've been hiring. Get a clue.
the department had 16 assigned officers. Now they're down to 5. Back in October of last year, the mayor of Collingdale requested state police help with overnight police patrols and investigations.
I don't feel safe driving through Collingdale, driving through Southeast Delco. Fortunately, we are still finding ourselves with no police force and a very anxious constituency.
We reached out to the DA's office and asked them why these charges were filed. Now, if supposedly the incident happened in 2023, we have not received an answer to that question.
You haven't received an answer to that question because they're trying to figure out how to wiggle their way around it. The district attorney works closely with law enforcement. When some shit goes down, the district attorney needs law enforcement to go investigate and bring them evidence, bring them all the crap so they can compile their case. Well, if the district attorney actually, I don't know, does their job and puts all criminals in jail, law enforcement or not, then law enforcement's going to be like, well, you know, you kind of pissed me off last time, so I'm not going to be bringing you any evidence. I'm not going to be helping you with any of this. They're not going to say it out loud because they can't, because it's kind of their job. But that's what they'll do, and the district attorney knows that. So none of them care. Anyway, let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, and this time I am out.
From